Hello, beautiful people. Happy Saturday night. I am still in a pretty jacked up mood. I am having a productive day. I always feel like I could be more productive, but goes back to giving myself a break, right? I was fortunate enough to host a webinar today. And it's nice. I'm fitting into this community and starting to recognize some faces, which is kind of fun. And I'm trying to get a little bit more braver about being on camera, being on Zoom and leading the charge. It's a work in progress. And I'm sure it'll get better. That's part of what I'm practicing. But some great content. I took kind of what I shared with you guys this morning about some of my, perspectives about how people handle other people. And we made that one of the topics in the group, Principles Above Personalities. And some really good stuff came up. We talked about, trying to put ourselves in the other people's shoes. And then sometimes that things that happen aren't really about us, even though we make it about us, which is always good to be reminded of. And then there was some folks that had mentioned things like the Serenity Prayer and turning it over, which it took me, 24 hours to get to. So I had a really good group, and I'm getting ready to jump on another call with another group, which has a whole different dynamic. It's more of, I don't know if spiritual is the right word, but it's a lot of people in one of my business classes, and we're just a strongly connected group of women that communicate pretty much daily, quite often, and we're kind of supporting each other through this class, and it's been very good. And now I have my niece stalking me, asking me if I could tell her what the letter of the day is going to be before I tell everybody else, which I think is kind of cheating, and I told her so. But we'll see how that goes, because I'm gonna post about N now that I'm having my Amazon magnificent episode with you. And there's so many good words. And just so you know, I'm doing this so that I can play again, do this again, because there's been so many good words. So I'm keeping track of the ones that we're working on right now. And then the next time we'll have a different set. I don't know if, we're solving the world by doing this, but it's kind of a fun game, and a lot of people are playing, so they must be having fun too. So the first word for today, and I think all three of these are amazing recovery words. So that was part of how I made my choices today. And top contenders, one of them, it's funny because almost every day there's like one word that really just sticks out that only one person says that just, resonates with me on a certain day. And I have one of those again today, and then two very recovery words. So the first one is meaningful, having a serious, important, or useful quality or purpose. And then communicating something that is not directly expressed. So their example was meaningful glances and repressed passion. So I think that, the first word that came to my mind when I see meaningful is life. Like, how meaningful is my life? And we hear those stories about the workaholics that, don't spend time with their children. And I just saw one on Facebook not too long ago about this man who was, he was dying to graduate high school, and then he was dying to graduate college, and he was dying to start a family, and then he was dying to get the kids in school, and then he was dying for them to graduate, and all of a sudden he's laying in bed with cancer, and he's really dying, and he missed a lot of life because he rushed through it. So I'm so grateful, if I if I was in a situation where today was my last day, I would be okay with that, in the sense that I'm doing everything that's meaningful to me to the best of my ability. My life has been meaningful. I'm so touched. Like right before I jumped on here, so I was supposed to be in Denver right now with the group some of the group that I went to Asia with, but led by the same, by Paul and his team, who you're probably getting used to me talking about. But it was supposed to be a meditation. Ooh, M for meditation. That didn't make the list today, but probably next year. But we were supposed to be at a meditation retreat, as well as I was supposed to see my family and my girlfriend who turned double nickel this week, and none of that worked out. So I've had them on my brain, and I sent them a note today, and I was just like, hey guys, I'm thinking about you. I love you. And, I think my heart is filled with them because I should have been with them right now. And that's the kind of meaningful life I want to live, the kind where I let people know that they're important. And I'm blessed to have, I sent that message and I got a couple private responses from women in the group, and everybody's just so uplifting, and it's not bullshit conversation. How you doing? Great. How you doing? Great. I mean, it's real and it's meaningful. And that's one of the things that recovery gives us, is a meaningful life. Like I didn't have a meaningful life when I was, going to the casino or betting or enthralled in my own head. I wasn't contributing to much. So it feels good to be meaningful. The next one, I should have done meaningful last. All right. The next one is also important in recovery and in life, I believe. And this is one that I'm just learning how to do the last couple of years. And I'll tell you, it takes practice, and I'm probably going to have to practice this until I die, even if it's 80 years from now. And that is mindful, conscious or aware of something, focusing one's awareness on the present moment, especially as part of a therapeutic or meditative technique. We need to slow our brains down, right? And this is a challenge for me every day. I talked about it in the context of listening, either yesterday or today, where my brain, like if I'm listening to someone, my brain still wants to like interrupt and provide the solution or have my opinion. And that's a practice skill as well. But being mindful of the fact that my brain is having those thoughts, so that I could slow those thoughts down and be mindful that I'm supposed to be tuning into listening and being mindful of that whole process. That's a lot, right? Like that's a lot of things to tell your brain. Or a way that I practice is when Karen and I go for our walks. We walk, she leaves the office and I leave my apartment, and we meet in the middle, which is usually somewhere around the casino. And I don't know if it's because I block the casino out of my mind, or it's just part of the scenery. It doesn't bother me. But what I need to try to continue to get better at is when we're walking and the back and the river's so pretty and the trees are reflecting off, or we're seeing the foliage change. Wow, here we go with those yawns again. My apologies. I should edit them out, but I'm not editing. Try to stay true to that. So being mindful of what's around and being appreciative of that. So I've been practicing, like on my walks, I've been listening to a meditation. It's a walking meditation. Like who knew that was even a thing? And it helps me become more mindful. But I'm even finding that as I'm listening to that, my brain runs off and then I have to bring myself back. So all of that is being mindful. And there's also a mindful when it comes to other people. There's like mindful of minding our business, for example, or mindful of someone's feelings. This is another opportunity area for me because I want to just speak what I think instead of realizing that other people may be impacted by what I'm saying or thinking in a negative way. So I have to be mindful of the words that come out of my mouth. And again, practice, practice, practice. And I think it'll be practice forever. That's just the way I feel, because I don't know how I could be like perfect at it. And the meditation, that's why meditation is so important and why I'm so bad at it still, is because my brain wants to run away. I don't know how to make my brain go slower. And mindful is a tool to help do that. You know, my walking example, you know, paying attention to the smell of the flowers as I walk by them, or not just mindful of like the traffic and the dogs. I will say that I definitely am really mindful of the dogs because I pay attention to where they are, and I visit with them all the time. I sit down on the ground and play with them, and I love the dogs. So there's some that I even know by heart. There's isn't that cute? Underdog. He has 3 legs. I haven't seen him actually in a while, but he's usually out and about. Then there's Ace, whose daddy works at the casino, and I see them enough that I know that. And there's a little girl. I don't remember her name. Anyway, there's a lot of cute little dogs on our walk, and I appreciate the fact that they're around. I have my future dog's names picked out. I don't know if you know that or not, but when I when I know I'll be in one place maybe for more than a minute and not traveling and crazy, and maybe even living somewhere warmer where I don't have to worry about walking them in 0-degree weather, I definitely have a couple dog names picked out. And I think I even have the varieties picked out. I love dogs. I love animals. Animals with fur. Okay. Are we ready for my last word? I'm very chatty today. My little 10-minute episodes are far from being 10-minute episodes lately. The final word, and I think that you'll recognize this one in a recovery word. I'm trying to look up the definition to see what, Google has to say about it. And this one, there could be a whole conversation surrounding this one about the value of these in recovery, how important it is. And the word is milestone. Wow, I just learned something. So the second definition, which is the one that resonated me, was an action or event marking a significant change or stage in development. So we talk about, well, I'll get into that in a second. But the first one, this is my learning. A stone set up beside a road to mark the distance in miles to a particular place. So it must have been before my time. I know of a mile marker on the side of the highway from my trucking days, but I didn't realize there was actually rocks on the side of the road. So yeehaw, I just got smarter. But the second one is really what I want to focus on. An action or event marking a significant change or stage in development. So that's why I think we count, 30 days, 60 days, 90 years, whatever those milestones are in the programs and in our clean time. And for me, there's a sense of pride, or there's a sense of pride when I get to them, but there's a sense of, and it's so silly, right? Whether I have 30 days or 300 days in this grand scheme of a milestone, it may not really matter. But if I got to 300 days, I'm going to then want to get to 365 for the milestone. It's just the way that I work. It's my, intrinsic motivation? That's what motivates me, is hitting goals and achieving things and hitting these milestones. It's just how I work. And one of the reasons I love our Monday night group from the center is we often have, I think it's like once every 2 months, we'd have what we call Milestone Monday. And that meeting consists of us. It starts off, we all get index cards. Oh, let me tell you, there's food. That's one of the best parts of it too. It's always a potluck Milestone Monday, and it's a party. So we get index cards and we write down our milestones that we want to talk about on that night. Now you might think it means your bet free time, and it doesn't. It's whatever milestone. We have someone who has acknowledged the money he saved in the bank from not gambling. That's a milestone. We've talked about milestones, quitting drinking, quitting smoking, things that play into effect. Milestones of the counselors as they graduated with their MBAs. Milestones with children. It could be just having an open conversation with somebody that you never had before. That's part of our growing and development and recovery. So there's a lot of different milestones. And I want to call out, this will be the happy, positive thought and what I would really like you to leave with and think about as we assess what a milestone is and how important it is. I want us to think about, the milestones that maybe we don't think they're important, but they are. Like reevaluate, if you make it a day without a bet, you made it a day. That's a milestone. It doesn't have to be 30 days, 60 days, whatever. If you're doing something a little better than yesterday, the definition said an action or event making a significant change in development. So if you've been betting for 30 years and you have a bet-free day, that's a significant change in your development if you're not betting. So be mindful of your milestones. That was a mouthful, huh? They can be more meaningful. I did not plan to use all three of them in the same sentence or to wrap this up. I guess I picked some good words today that you provided. Woo. I'm sitting here literally drinking coffee and still yawning. What is wrong with this equation? Anyway, be mindful of your milestones. They can all be meaningful as long as you're moving forward in life. That's the deal. That's today's thought. I gave you like double homework today, some this morning and some tonight, but that's okay. I have faith in you. All right, beautiful people. I will be back with you tomorrow morning, hopefully earlier than I did this morning. I am going to go get ready for my next group. All right, I'll talk to you later.